So this guy, his name's Frank Abagnale, and Frank always swore he was going to live the high life. Somehow, by the time he's 21, he manages to pull off one of the most legendary cons in history. So it all starts when Frank runs away from home at 16 after his parents' divorce. He needs money and figures. Instead of working some dead-end job, why not just become someone else? His first con? Faking checks. And he doesn't just forge one or two, he creates hundreds. He starts small, but soon he's floating thousands of dollars all over the country by printing his own checks. And since this is the 60s, banks aren't exactly on top of their game with security, so it works for a while. But Frank, he doesn't stop there. One day he decides that just being a con artist isn't flashy enough, so he starts posing as a Pan Am pilot. Yep, he literally pretends to be a commercial airline pilot, flying all over the world for free. And it's not like he's actually flying the planes, but he's riding in the cockpit, sipping coffee with the crew like he's a real pilot. He calls it deadheading. Frank even gets custom Pan Am pilot uniforms made and somehow fakes an employee ID badge. And no one questions it. Dude's flying to like 26 countries, staying in luxury hotels, eating the finest meals, all without spending a dime. But it doesn't stop there. He's loving the lifestyle so much that he starts dabbling in other careers. At one point, Frank poses as a doctor in a Georgia hospital. He's got no medical training, but he spends 11 months working as the head of a hospital's pediatric ward. And when he gets tired of being a doctor, guess what? He becomes a lawyer. Frank forges a Harvard law degree and actually passes the Louisiana bar exam after studying for just a few weeks. He works as a prosecutor for nearly a year before he decides to move on to his next adventure. But by now, Frank's living large, and it's catching up to him. The FBI starts noticing all the forged checks and unusual travel patterns. They start hunting him down, but Frank is always one step ahead, using different identities and constantly moving around. He's a ghost. Eventually, though, after years of playing cat and mouse with the FBI, Frank slips up. He's in France when he gets caught. And after getting arrested, he's sentenced to 12 years in federal prison for fraud and check forgery. But here's the crazy part. While in prison, Frank is such a skilled con man that the FBI offers him a deal. They want him to help them catch other check forgers and scam artists. So Frank agrees, and he spends the rest of his career helping law enforcement stop the very crimes he once committed. Today, Frank's a free man, and he's written books, given talks, and even worked as a consultant for the FBI. Oh, and his life was turned into a movie. You've probably seen it. It's called Catch Me If You Can, and Leonardo DiCaprio plays Frank. Funny how a guy who spent his youth scamming millions now spends his days teaching people how to spot cons. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe if you're not already, and stay curious for the next video.